so far we've talked about how to find slope using just a graph, just a line, looking at a graph, piece of graph paper with a line on it, being able to find a slope. We've also figured out how to find a slope if we can't see a graph, if we just have 2 points, right? Right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find slope using slope to graph a linear equation. So now we have a slope, but now we need to be able to graph it looking at the slope, and that's pretty easy. What's one thing though that we would need besides slope to be able to find be able to graph something?
A linear equation.
Okay, we would need it. We would need the slope. But wouldn't we need a point to start off with?
Yep.
Yeah, we would need a point to start off with. And so that's what we're going to talk about first. All right? And I want you to look at this. This is a graph of a specific function. This function is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Okay? What is the slope of this line? How would you figure out the slope of this line? Because remember, we've already did this yesterday.
Just pick 2 points.
Pick 2 points, all right. What 2 points do we want to pick?
I know. Can I pick?
Yeah, you can come on up and tell me which ones you want to pick. Use green. Use green. All right, there's one.
Oh, that's not right.
That's close enough.
Not anymore.
There's one. Okay, and there's 2. Okay, so we used 2 points, and by looking at a graph, how can we tell what just by looking at it, not without doing anything as far as figuring out some math things, but just by looking at this, how can we find out what the slope is?
Down 1 over 2.
Down 1 over 2. So it's down 1
There's a half
and over 2. Oops, let me write it up here. Down 1 over 2. Right? So is that our slope?
Yes.
So our slope is down 1 and over 2. Now it says, where does the equation pass through the y-axis? Which one's the y-axis?
The one going up.
The one going up, right. We should even label those. So the y-axis, where is it passing through the y-axis?
0, 3.
At 0, 3. Right? I'm just going to put a plus. Now, anything weird about this function and what we just found out? Do you see any numbers that are the same that are inside of the function, inside of that equation, and your slope and that where it passes through the y-axis? Do you notice some things, Peter? What do you notice? The negative 1/2, and where's that at? It's a slope, and it's right here, right?
Yeah.
It's in the same. It's in a location, a specific location, and I wonder if we do some other ones, if that's the same thing that's going to happen. Joseph, what about this?
3 is where the line passes the y-axis.
Do you think that it has something to do with that?
Probably.
I mean, if we were to guess right now, we would say that, right? Would that make it a whole lot easier to graph equations? If we knew that this was my slope and that was my y-intercept. Well, I don't know that yet. Do you guys know that yet? I mean, it looks like it's possible, right? So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and open up your laptop, and we're just going to follow these very specifically, okay? At the end of class, if we have time, I'll give you some time to play around a little more with Grapher.
Was the grapher like banned? There's water on here.
I had Mr. Kenya fix it so you guys were able to get Grapher. For some reason, they didn't have.
Battery. What the heck was that? Cameron's gaming. You got a game room. Thank you very much. I was a computer model.
So the first thing that you want to do is you want to open your laptops and spotlight, under the spotlight, type Grapher, just like we did yesterday. You remember that when it didn't quite work?
Wait, you did this yesterday? This thing's
Well, we tried and we found out that it didn't work, so we had to fix that. Okay, so under Grapher, make sure 2D graph is highlighted, and then click Choose. All right. What you should and then what you should get is a big piece of graph paper with an X and a Y axis.
It's loading. I have the yellow dot.
Okay. Well, we'll wait a second for the you guys want to, you can go ahead and go to 3, and it says where it says y equals, type 4x minus 3. Okay? Now when you type 4x minus 3, I want you to think about these questions.
How do you do this 3D?
Don't worry about answering them out loud.
I can get the minus 7. Why don't you see a 5?
That's a big one. It opens though. Let's see x equal.
Ooh, I need the line pretty colors.
Okay.
Y equals
Can
what?
you turn your brightness up a little bit? I know that your battery's
Yeah, that's where I'm starting.
Okay, so looking at that graph,
What do we type in?
what does it look like the slope is? Now, that's going to be up to you to figure out what the slope is.
What's the number?
It says 4x minus 3. 4x minus 3.
Do we press enter?
Yep. And then where it says y equals, type in 4x minus 3. And Garrett, what does it look like the slope might be on that? Well, you know how to look at a graph, right? You got to tell by looking at a graph what the slope is? Okay. How would you figure out what the slope is on that? Okay. If we were to pick 2 points, what does it look like the graph, what does it look like it might be? Up 2 over 1? What do you get?
No, up 4.
Up 4 over 1. Okay? So the slope, it says, what does the slope seem to be? It seems to be 4 over 1. Now, where does the function pass through the y-axis?
Negative 3.
At negative 3? Okay.
Well, the way they label it, it's more like negative.
Okay. You know that on the top left, there's a place where you can enlarge and shrink it down.
I already made this clear.
You can kind of customize it too. There's some options that you can customize things. All right. And so you can type 4x minus 3, and we found out that the slope would be 4 over 1. What's 4 over 1, by the way?
4.
4. And it passes through at negative 3. Take a look at this. Y equals 4x minus 3. We have the slope is 4. And the x, or the y-intercept is negative 3. All right, let's try one more, just to make sure, because now I think we're onto something, aren't we?
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think? Are we onto something?
Yes.
Let's try this one. At the bottom left of the window, click on the plus. There's a plus sign. Click on that plus sign. What it's going to do is give you an option to add another equation, add another line, and type in negative x plus 4.
Oh, we have to do both of them?
Yep, just put in minus x plus 4. And it makes a line that's a different color than
New equation?
Yep. New equation, yep. Put new equation where it says y equals type negative x plus 4.
Oh, I got it. Where did I get
Okay.
the new What the heck? Much prettier. I'm like a dinosaur. I'm like so
Negative
fast.
x plus what?
Stealthy.
Plus 4.
Where did I get on the equation?
You get new equation.
Mr. Jhiser. I don't know that. I don't know what the world
You're going to hit the plus sign down there.
I'm on negative 2.639.
And then new equation. There you go. All right, let me take a look
Y
at you.
equals negative x.
Is the slope 1?
Oh. Zoom out.
It will be 1.
Okay, let's go out again.
This annoys me.
I saw that it comes
Doesn't
before
work like
where
it's
it passes the y.
What are you expecting it to do?
Type in the sign, right?
Right there, right there.
It goes off.
There's a one side, right there. How'd you put it in different colors?
I had it on.
Oh. Well, that might be why. have it on, don't make sure that your symbols aren't on Chinese. Okay.
It's not my fault.
I'm sorry.
It's that Chinese class again. All right, so where it says negative x plus 4, what does the slope seem to be? What does the slope seem to be? Garrett. 1?
4. Oh, 4.
Now let's take a look at this, because the slope's going like this, right? Right? So if it's a downward slope, then should it be positive or negative?
Positive because it's going down.
It's not going up, it's going down. Maybe you didn't type it in right.
Oh no, it's down 4.
Down 4 over. Down 4 over 4? So if it's down 4 over 4, that's 4 divided by 4, which is 1. So it's negative 1. Alright, so the slope is negative 1. Where does the function pass through the y-axis?
I don't know. I can't see.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to, you can grab it. There's a little hand tool that's up in the top right, the top left. You can click on that, and then you can pull the graph around, wiggle it around to wherever you want to go.
Oh, now
What was the first equation?
Like gross. Oh, it's at 4.
What was the first equation?
It's at 4.
It's at normal 4.
Passes through at 0, 4.
What was the first equation?
So what does that tell us?
That
That the slope has everything to do with this number that's directly in front of here, right? Now there's not a negative 1 in front of there, right? But we know that there's an imaginary 1 in front of that variable, right? Adam, you good?
Following so far.
Okay. And this number has everything to do with where it crosses the y-axis. So remember about I think it was last week, maybe Friday.
Wouldn't it be 4 times 1 plus x?
Say that again.
Wouldn't it be 4 times 1 plus x?
4, comma 1 for which
I
part?
mean, 4 times.
no x-axis comes first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your x.
it's going over 4.
No, it's going over. Oh, I see what you're saying. There isn't another point that's 4, 0 on this exact line, right? But this right here, that's your y-intercept. That's your y-intercept.
Wouldn't, for the y-intercept, wouldn't the first number always be 0?
Right. Because you're not going over either way.
And
You're right on that origin, and then you're just going up or down. So your y-intercept would be 0 something, right? Okay, good. What do you think? You think that we figured this out a little
Well,
bit?
if you zoom out far enough, it's like 2.5 times 7.
You can get it back in, don't worry. You'll just have to exit out.
Right.
You can.
Okay, go ahead and put away the laptops. Don't worry, if we have time at the end, we'll crack these back open. Nope, I just wanted to show you that how Grapher works. So then you can use it to ever check. Well, once we start graphing equations, you can check them on there. Okay. There's another program called GeoGebra.
Oh, yeah,
If you've ever played with that.
That's fine.
Okay. If you've ever played with
thought about
GeoGebra, okay. You can also check them on there as well. You can do the same exact thing on GeoGebra. They're both things that are on your laptop. So go ahead and put away your laptop. Nope.
It's fun. If you click that,
What?
just keep dragging so that's fun shape.
Here?
Ned, what are you making?
Okay, let's go.
Fishy rectangle.
Okay.
No, I think we're the same age.
You're going to want to get something out probably to write down.
And we both have brown shoes on.
Nick,
Creepy.
We will have time to do that probably.
What?
Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. It's a new term that you guys haven't heard of before. Y-intercept. But think of it as like football or soccer or something like that where you intercept, right? Or I don't know, what's some other things where you can intercept something?
Basketball.
Basketball, yeah. But football is a really popular sport where interceptions happen, where someone, gets in between the passer and the receiver and catches the ball in between them, and that's an interception. So where where this crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. Now, the y-intercept is always going to be this number right here. And I put this plus part I put that in red because the sign indicates where it's at. Okay? So if it's plus 4, then that means that we know exactly where a point is for this one. It would be 0, 4. Now if this said negative 3, okay? If it said 3x minus 3, then we would have a point 0, negative 3. Okay? We good with that? So we just pay attention to the number and the sign directly in front of it. That will tell us where one of the points are. Now, how do we graph this? We look at the slope, right? We look at the slope after we put that one point on the y-axis, okay? We put this point on the y-axis, then I know that this slope means what?
Over 3.
No.
Down 1 over 3.
Up 3. You get up before you go. You get up before you go. So you get up before you go. So you go up 3 over 1. And then you can do it again. Up 3 more over 1. Up 3 more over 1. Okay? So this is the equation, y equals mx plus b. All right? That's something that you'll hear a lot. All right? That's called slope-intercept form. It's a really popular one. Remember, we worked on this a couple of sections ago where I gave you a function that might have looked like this, 2x plus 3y equals 8. And I said solve for y. Remember that? We had to subtract 2x and then divide the whole thing by 3. Remember that? That's putting it all into slope-intercept form. So there was a reason why I was having you guys do that. Okay? M is the slope. All right? We're used to writing m equals, right? And b is the y-intercept. That's the new one. So wherever we see b, so the worksheet that I gave you today, it's going to ask you for the y-intercept. So I put y-intercept equals b equals, and then you have to tell me what the y-intercept is. Pretty easy, right?
So B equals something?
Yeah, the b value is the y-intercept.
So
All right?
B could equal like 3 times 5 or something?
No, b would always be just whatever that number is on the end.
So
If you put it into this form.
So that would be easy. I just have to do the 0 and then...
It's
Mister,
not difficult.
you're being really nice today.
Well, we tied it all together kind of because we did some other stuff first, and now we're here, and it makes this a whole lot easier to understand, I think, because of the stuff that we've already done.
Thanks.
Okay? All right, so this example, we're going to graph this equation, all right? And I know that I don't have pieces of graph paper for you, so I just want you to watch this, how I'm going to do this, and you can actually direct me on what to do. All right?
Can I draw it up there?
So y equals 2x minus 3. I'm going to do this one. Y equals 2x minus 3. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to find the y-intercept.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit, not Gesundheit.
I started, okay? Gesundheit.
Well, you should have heard Michael, how he said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Courtesy of Mr. Cassidy.
Pledge of Allegiance.
So you may go ahead and try to graph this one with me.
Even though I'm still old.
You should heard how
You
Michael...
do not have to. No, you do not have to, but you might like to.
You should heard how Michael said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, let's watch this then.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Find the y-intercept. Adam, can you at least tell me what the y-intercept would be here?
It's where the line meets the line.
Okay, so there's our y-axis and our x-axis. So it's going to be somewhere on this line, right? Do you know where?
No.
Okay, we can look at, should I not say, should I let you guys, Trinity, where should it be? It should be at where it's negative 3, and we know that because of this right here. All right, so at negative 3, so we go down 3, 1, 2, 3. That, ladies and gentlemen, is one point on the function, which means that it is one solution. All right, that means if I plug in 0, negative 3 to this, if x is equal to 0, y would be equal to negative 3. All right, so that's the math way. Now, what's the second thing we should do?